Hey guys, welcome to SmackTalk RC.
Welcome.
This is 3D Tips. It's a new series.
It is a new series.
Yeah. What's the difference between this and learning 3D?
Well, our brains kind of don't work on a one-track sort of path. And they're kind of scattered. So
Exactly.
The learning 3D, you did an excellent job. You covered everything, but it was a logical progression. And there's some things in there that don't quite fit. So now we're doing 3D tips in no particular order.
Exactly.
Whatever we can think of
that's cool, that's different or new or whatever. Yeah, learning 3D, if you watched, like, say, number 4 and you hadn't learned what was taught in number 1, 2, and 3, it made no sense for you to even watch it.
Exactly.
But here it's like you can just pick over time. Once we have a few of them, you can pick any of these episodes, the 3D tips, and just practice whatever.
That'll be cool. So what are we doing first?
Today we're gonna do circus tricks.
What is a circus trick?
A circus trick is a trick that is performed at a circus.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, he's smart. A circus trick is something cool that is different that you can show your friends. It's probably guaranteed not technical at all, but it's something creative, something funny, something goofy.
It's not technical at all. It's not very hard to do at all. Some are if you want to make them look like, all of them are easy, but some of them, if you want to make them look real good, they're harder to do. But it doesn't take a whole lot of skill. It's fun to do. A lot of them are not as original anymore, simply because a lot of people have started to do a lot of these things.
Exactly.
But we figure we could just take, I don't know, just a handful of them, put them all together in a 3D tips episode, and just show you all these things, so you can, I don't know, have fun at the local field or at the next fun fly or whatever.
That'll be good. You can impress your buddies.
Or scare somebody.
You can scare people.
Or scare yourself.
We've done them in competitions, so you've seen videos and stuff. So it'll be fun. So we're going to break them down and show you how to do it.
All right, let's hit it.
Good like that.
Circus tricks.
Roll the intro.
See ya.
All right, to begin our circus tricks episode, we're going to do some ground-based maneuvers that we like to put in our top few favorites for the circus tricks. So these are anything that you can do. Some of them are better on a runway. Actually, most of these are better on some sort of runway like we have here. Now this is really hard, rough, like stone, so it's not too fun to do it on. But if you've got like a really nice runway at an airplane field or something, or if you take a look out there, cameraman, you can see our concrete pad where it's nice, flat, poured concrete. That's real nice to do it on too. But we'll do the best with what we got here, and I'll just change my skids at the end of this little episode because it's going to kill them. So first what we're going to do is we are going to do the race car maneuver. So I got my Gaui X5 here. It's running beautiful on a beautiful Florida afternoon. So first we're going to make the helicopter look like it's just a little race car. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick it up and we're just going to go forward. We're going to lean the nose forward and just kind of drag it around like it's a race car. It's getting a little shimmy for a little fly bar. Let's drag it around in a circle, do a spin, just forward like that. Kind of keep the nose forward like that and just keep the skids on the ground. You can do this with your MCPX, you can do this with everything. Wonderful. All right, so next we're gonna do the walk the dog. Next we're doing the walk the dog. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a lot of cyclic here and rudder. And I'm just kind of walk it left and right. Step, 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 step. So I'm just kind of walking the dog like that. So you can do a walk the dog and then a you know, sort of takeoff or something cool like that. So the next thing we'll do is a bow. This is really fun to do at the bottom of an auto. So let's say I'm flying around, and I do an auto. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit hold, I'm gonna land, now full forward cyclic, hold it, and then 0 and down. So what I did there was I pushed forward with the cyclic, just the cyclic, and I left the collective right around 0 or so. And I pushed it till I just saw the blade tips get close to the ground, and then I backed off. So I can show you that again if you'd like to see it. Make sure you're not using any positive collective here, because that's going to make it really unstable. So keep it around 0, or if negative, push forward. Then when the bow's complete, you're going to give 0 cyclic and negative collective. So I can just do it like this. So I'll hit hold, 0, forward on cyclic, hold it, now 0, and back down. Now if you want to, if you get really brave, you can push it forward so that it just sits there and hangs, and all your blade speed can diminish as it's sitting there forward. But you risk the flybarless controller or something getting awkward or wanting to bite in or something like that. So you don't want to do that. So next, we're going to do our pirouettes on the ground. So I'm going to do this on the smooth concrete out there. So we can do this both on takeoff, and we can do this on a landing as well. So I'm going to go over here. And so for instance, so what I'm going to do is spin it. And just I'm right around 0, if anything negative. And you can see I'm kind of in one spot. My right hand's off the stick. Just be careful of the grass and stuff. So I can drive it over here like a race car a little bit. All right, now I'm in the center. And I can also do it in hold. So I landed, now I hit hold and spin it. 0 degrees and rudder. And you really don't have much to worry about. When it's done, just in case, you can go to negative, just so that you don't have to worry about it tipping over. The worst you're gonna do here is kind of tip these things over and scrape the bottom of your blade. So it's not too bad. So now we're gonna do our touch and go maneuvers. So first we're gonna do it while flying. So there's 2 different ways to do it while flying. We showed you one of these before. So let's say if I'm just doing like a 4-point backflip, right? So I'm doing my little backflip, and let's say I want to touch and go. So touch the skids, go. Now with a torque tube, be careful because your tail gears will get in. So I like to keep the tail up a little bit, if you saw that. We can do like a tick-tock, touch, you know, something like that. The other way we can do our touch and go is flying. Okay, so we're doing our touch and go under power here. So I'm going to come forward, and I'm going to go right around 0, and I'm just going to very lightly touch it, and then lift up. So that was our touch and go. You can do that mainly, you know, on a smooth asphalt is good too. Now we can do a touch and go auto. So I'm going to line up, I'm going to come in, I'm going to hit the hold, and I'm going to be very careful at the end that it doesn't wobble. So I'm going to come in, good speed, hit hold, 0, let it slide, 0, and then negative. The reason I gave negative at the end was because I didn't want it to get any sort of a death wobble. That's really bad. That's the only time you'll see it shake, and then it might want to explode. We don't want to do that. So I gave 0 during my auto, and then right at the end I gave negative. So those were our ground-based circus tricks. We had all sorts of different maneuvers in there. So let's go into our next one.
Okay guys, the next circus tricks we're going to talk about have to do with like getting really low to the point where you have to touch the ground. One of them is the blade scrape. We're going to do the blade scrape right now. This is not really the helicopter you want to use for this kind of stuff, really.
What are you using?
I'm using my Goblin, and it's the only blue Goblin I have. I don't know why I'm stupid, but you want to use something that's a beater. Not necessarily, but you want to use your everyday machine, like your practice machine. And it's always better also if you have a head button. The Goblin doesn't have a head button, so, and I'll tell you why that's better. But basically, blade scrape is it's really simple. The key here is you don't want to dig in too deep, because then you'll definitely crash. So just keep it like really light. So just get it into a hover, flip it, and then you can do upside down like nose in or tail in. Just get it low, really low. Just start coming down lower and lower and lower until you scrape. That's it. That's it. That's a blade scrape. Now, if you had a head button on the helicopter, you could actually get a little creative. And if you had a head button and very, very smooth surface, like really, really smooth, like asphalt that is really smooth, or even like cement that is smooth, you could actually even like start getting carried away and go to the positive side, I'm sorry. Believe it or not, you can. I actually saw, the first time I ever saw somebody do like a ridiculously cool like blade scrape was Steven Gerrard. I don't know if you guys remember him. He used to fly, he used to be very, very popular pilot from England. I haven't seen him in a long time, but Steven Gerrard had a Raptor. I think it was a good old Raptor 90. And this is back probably in 2006 or 7 in Las Vegas at the Fun Fly. And he actually did a blade scrape where he actually went to the positive side, and you could see the freaking head button like literally just touching the ground, and the blade scrape just sort of like went like down the runway like by about like 50 feet. It was just freaking awesome. So the blade scrape is one. The next one I'm not going to do, to be honest with you, because again, I don't have the ideal helicopter to do this. But the next one is basically the same thing, just to cut grass. So as you can see, our grass at the field ironically got cut yesterday, and that's not a lie. But the next one will be just to kind of do the same thing. And again, you could do this nose end, tail end, in any orientation, and just like try to cut the grass. You know, if you had like really high weeds right there, it'd be really, really easy to do it. You know, or occasionally you'll go to a field or you'll go to a Fun Fly where, you know, there's like really thick, cut really nice short grass, and then towards the distance you'll have like bigger, taller weeds. Just go out there and play with them. Just make sure the weeds are soft. You don't want them to be like really, really hard. Some of the dried out weeds, they can actually crash your helicopter. So that was it for blade scrapes and cutting the weeds.
Okay, and next we're going to move on to one of my all-time sort of favorite circus tricks, the throttle hold maneuver. This became really, really big a few years ago. Just whenever I think mainly it started happening when the speed controllers started doing the auto rotation bailout. For instance, Castle Creations has a little check mark in there where when you click it, it says auto rotation enable, and then you can go into your head speed change rate and change how fast it comes back in. That means that when you hit throttle hold, you can click back out and it'll come back in smoothly. It won't do the whole slow start again. And it's cool because it's allowed us to really do different things with music routines and freestyle routines and just flying around. And it's really unexpected. You can do this with the nitro as well, but you might just want to put a little bit of delay in your mode. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to spool up here, and I'm going to show you a few different things that you can do. Now, in order to make sure that your auto rotation mode is enabled, I'm going to spool up. I'm just going to hit hold. Then I'll click back in, and you can see it click back in nice and smoothly. So the first one I like to do, this one's pretty cool. It's just a straight up climb and you hit hold. So watch. I'm going to hit hold right as I launch. 3, 2, 1, go. 0, click back in. 9, go. Now I don't really have to go to 0. And it's cool if you can really stall the blades as much as possible. So I'll go inverted here, watch this. Full negative, click back in. And you really want to let the blades die. It just looks cooler that way. You can give some rudder. Now we kind of showed this in episode, I believe it was 19, when we were overseas, Costa Rica, Argentina. We showed some of this. But this is just a little bit, more of how we do it. So you can do all sorts of different things. You really have to trust your speed controller. So I can do a rainbow, but then I can add hold. Hold, click back in. Hold, click back in. And do all sorts of things. I can do anything. Come and click hold in an auto. Fly around. Hurricane auto. Hit hold. Click back out. You have to trust your speed controller and trust it, and it'll be okay. So that's our few things here. Another thing we can do, Scott Gray did this at XFC a few years ago for the first time. It was awesome. Just go inverted, hit hold. Negative, click back out, and go. Now on the Castle Creations, I turn my auto rotation enable mode to the fastest it'll go. I believe it's like a custom number, like 20. And at that it bails out nice and fast. I can also do that one inverted. So I can just start going inverted. Pirouetting. So I can do this inverted pirouetting. Hit hold. Click back out. Now once again, you can do this with nitro as well. So that's our throttle hold, and I'll just show you like a backwards, I don't know, a roll. So come eye level, hit hold, roll. So that's everything with throttle hold. It's really fun. Don't kill it, don't overdo it. In that auto rotation episode, we tried to tell you guys to be creative and do something cool with it. Don't just kind of fly and hit hold. You know, make it worth your while. Make it really pop. So when people see it, it's like, oh, that's cool. So biggest thing is kill the blade speed as much as you can without crashing it, and just be creative with it. Have fun, do awesome things, and be really cool and see.
Next circus trick we're going to talk about is very kind of stupid, lame, borderline dumb, but actually it's cool. If you have a little helicopter like a small Blade MCPX, it has to be a collective pitch helicopter. It has to be able to fly upside down as well as right side up, of course. I guess you could try with a 450, it'd be a little scary. But anyway, Bobby and I were in Costa Rica one time, and I was just doing, I don't know who did it. I think he suggested that I do it. I was doing blade stops with the Blade MCPX, and then I would just re-spool it up in the air, and he just walked over and he's like, hey, can we do this kind of throw? And Bobby, come here. So we actually did this, and this is a circus trick. So if you're hanging out with your friends and you know they see this thing for the first time, they're like, oh, that's cool, like does it really fly? Like what does it do? Then you can have a friend of yours just do the baseball throw for you.
Let's do the baseball throw.
You think I can pull it off? I don't know. We'll try it. We'll try it. Baseball throw.
All right, ready?
Yeah, go.
3, 2, 1.
Nice. That's it. Baseball throw.
That's the baseball throw.
Yeah.
This is take 1, and hopefully the only take of our next circus trick, and I'm not very thrilled to be bringing this to you. This is the blade stop. Now, for some reason, Bert always convinces me to do the blade stops. So we'll do the blade stop. Bert used to do them a lot, but then he, well,
a couple of bad things.
when you get old and, you know, certain things just go away. But it's all right, I'm still representing for everybody. So here we go, so we're doing the blade stop. So I got my X7 here. Blade stops. We brought this up in our autos episode again, but it's a circus trick by far, so let's do it. So what is a blade stop? A blade stop's where you're flying in the air and the blades physically stop. Now everybody can do a blade stop. I can guarantee every one of you can do a blade stop. But the hard part is starting it again and making it land. So here's what we're going to do. I recommend doing these things if, number one, if you guys really want to push it. I mean, keep in mind, this could totally ruin your helicopter. So as you're about to say, I don't know what's going to happen. Usually it's okay, but it could totally destroy every single part on your helicopter. So just let that beware. But what we're going to do here is I'm recommending blade stops with a flybarless helicopter, and I'm recommending it with an electric. Just this is the best sort of combination that I've found. If you take a look at our SmackTalk series from the first year, there's a helicopter falling out of the sky, or maybe it's the second year. Yeah, that was a blade stop gone bad with a 50 size flybar, so they can go bad. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take it up. I'm just going to be right side up. I'm going to hit hold. I'm going to feather in full positive pitch, and then it's just going to completely die. Just going to completely die. Now you can do you can do two things. You can either click back in into your power and fly it back down, or you can give it negative pitch for it to slowly spool back up on its own. I would rather, if you do that, then you're just really ballsy. But a circus trick, what Bert and I think, is when you click back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it up full positive pitch. It's going to completely cut off. I'm going to go to normal mode, and then from there I go into my idle up, which is my slow speed, my slow spool up. So let's do that. And if it's good, then we'll land and we'll go to the next one. If it's bad, we'll walk over and we'll look at the carnage. Blade stops. Here we go. And this thing's flying really well. This guy is clicking in. Yeah. Exactly. So once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click it. I'm going to totally stop it. And then once I want to spool up, I'm going to click into normal mode, and then from there I go into idle up. It's my really slow-mo startup. All right, so we'll try it here. Here we go. the slow startup, if it's in bailout, it's gonna just click in too fast, and we're worried about boom striking. What we don't want is a wobble. So I take it at a pretty good altitude, so here we go. Hold, full throttle. Now I'm gonna go back into normal. Good, it's stop, 0, idle up 1, and I click back in, that's it. So now I guess autoed, now I'm coming back down. And that right there was a very simple blade stop. Now you can do it forever. You can get creative with your blade stops. You can go full speed forward and click it and make it tumble and do death spirals as it's coming. You can pull out lower. It's just getting comfortable and frankly just having the guts. So this one survived so far on SmackTalk. We're 2 for 2 for blade stops. So they would say 3 is a charm.
All right, guys, next circus trick here. So you can see I'm not wearing a neck strap. Why? Because we're gonna do another circus trick. The first guy I ever saw do this was, God, like many years ago. His name's Henry Caldwell. He flies, he's from I think one of the Carolinas in the United States. Pretty good pilot. And he did this and it was kind of cool because at the time nobody was doing it. So it was a cool circus trick. It is just that, a circus trick. However, when trying this, be careful because you can crash your helicopter. I think lately who I've seen do this a lot is Raquel below from Spain. She does that every time she goes to a fun fly in Europe. Basically what you do is make sure you don't have a neck strap, and if you do, it's not hooked on. Just start flying your helicopter, get it off the ground. What I recommend you do to do this the very first time ever is take the helicopter relatively high. You don't want to be like 3,000 feet in the air, but you want to be high enough to feel comfortable with this process. Take the helicopter a little high, and then make sure any stick. Make sure you're in idle up, of course, and then start flying. Gold transmitter behind your back. It's cool, actually. It's just a circus trick. It's not that hard to do. The hard part is transitioning the stick from from the normal position to your back. That can get you screwed up if you're not careful. But other than that, flying is the same. So you can see I'm not flying as low as I normally do because I haven't done this in a long time. This is probably the first time I've done this in like 5 years. So I'm trying to keep it a little high, a little safe, just in case I make a mistake with like my thumb. But as far as the way your brain interprets the movements, nothing really changes. What is tricky is just that you don't have the same flexibility in your thumbs or in your pinch. So it's always just better just to take it easy the first few times you do it. So to transition, you either land obviously, or you just take both of your thumbs off their sticks, and then you grab your transmitter back, and then you just go ahead and land. Again, the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. Like I said before, this is like literally the very first time I've done this in like 5 years. So I'm not really accustomed to how the radio feels. It's the same thing. Your brain doesn't think any difference. It's mostly the agility. You lose a lot of agility in your thumbs. And if you're a pincher, it makes it pretty difficult too, because the way you pinch, the way your hands wrap around the radio and everything just changes. So it just takes a little getting used to. But it's really easy, and a lot of people would just go like, wow, that's pretty cool. So that's circus trick.
And finally, for our last circus trick of the day, we're concluding with an old-time favorite. This is called the pinwheel. What is a pinwheel? Well, a pinwheel is where you slam your rudder stick over when you change one setting in your radio, and the helicopter will pirouette so fast it'll look like a blur. It's not hard to do at all. We're not even using the training cam. So what did I do here? I've got my Futaba 8FG. I'm flying my Gaui X5 because this is kind of the beater. So what I did was I went into my gyro menu, and in my rudder screen I've got 52% gain in my heading hold mode, and then if I flick this switch right here, that's my normal mode switch back here. I turn my gain all the way down, or just a few points, so we turn it down to like 3%. So what that does is kind of unlocks the heading hold. It just pretty much turns the heading hold off. So when you guys physically set the travel on your tail, on your slider, when I give it full left, it's going to give that much pitch instead of just a little bit. It's going to give that whole inch or two of deflection of pitch. So what do we want to look for in the machine? Cameraman, let's walk over here real quick. You want to make sure, number one, your dampening's really tight. Number two, everything's secure up front, like your batteries and everything like that. You want everything to be secure. Most importantly, if you're running a belt setup, you should be fine. It's just gonna pull the belt out. But if you're running a torque tube, you wanna make sure you pin the boom. So this screw here I've got going through my clamp into the boom. I drilled a hole there, and then as well on the side hole. You can see here it goes through the tail box into the boom. So this makes sure that nothing can physically fly out. Because I've seen guys do this and it spins so fast that everything just slams out. Now keep in mind with rotational speed and stuff, if your battery is not strapped in right, I mean the battery's gonna weigh like 5 times the amount that it normally does just because of the centrifugal force. So let's show how to do the pinwheel. So I'm going to fly around and then I'm going to go into like a knife edge sort of setup. And when I do the knife edge sort of thing, then I'm going to hit the, I'm going to go into normal mode and then I'm just going to do my pinwheel and it should be awesome. So I'm in heading hold here and it's kind of scary. Now, the other thing with the pinwheel too is I'm going to click back into the heading hold. I'm going to click back into heading hold while it's still pinwheeling, and that'll help me stop it. So I can kind of show you here in a hover how it's going to work. So I'm going to go to my normal mode here. I'm just going to slightly touch the rudder, and you see it goes crazy. I click back into heading hold, and now I'm good. So I can bring that a little lower to show you again. So I'm going to go into rate mode. I'm going to hit it. Okay, so good. So now I hit it into hold. So I'm in heading hold. The coolest way to do it is a knife edge. So we're going to come here at knife edge, put it at knife edge like that, and hit it. And then back into heading hold, and that's it. I'm not pegging the stick. I'm just kind of leaning it over so that it induces that really fast spin. I'm not pegging the stick at all. Zero collective. So go here. Like that. Now you could let it fall all the way. Depends how much you like your machine, if it's just a beater machine or whatnot. But I kind of like this thing, so we'll respect it with the pinwheel. But that one's really cool. If you're doing a music routine, you can have it go to some wild, crazy music. You can mix this up with the throttle hold tricks and the blade scrapes and walking the dog, and you can really put on a heck of a circus trick.
Thanks for watching Circus Tricks.
Thank you for watching 3D Tips.
3D Tips, Circus
number
Tricks,
one.
First episode, number one. Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Dude, that brought me back to a lot of stuff. We used to do that stuff back in the day, man.
It did.
I haven't seen, like the pinwheel we did, I haven't seen that in forever.
Yeah.
And then I did it. Well,
it was easier to do with a flybar helicopter just because it was easier to turn the tail gyros to off. It was much easier to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like now with the flybarless stuff, it's so intricate.
Yeah.
If you guys are flying V-bar, I'm sure you can do it. Just go to the V-bar software and change on where you select your banks. Just change it to the tail so that you can adjust the tail gain through the transmitter and then turn the gain like way down. I haven't tried it yet. I'm sure it'll work.
He's scared. He's really just scared.
Yeah, I am always scared. I'm getting old, dude. I just don't have the same.
It's all right. I'll represent the young generation. I'll represent.
I'll represent the old people.
That's cool.
It's all cool.
No, we're good. We got a little bit of everything. Yeah. So stay tuned for next time of 3D Tips, where we'll put out whatever we want to.
Whatever we want to.
Whatever you guys want. If you guys have an idea for 3D tips, it can be anything with flying.
Anything
at all. Yeah, something you want to learn.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in order. We're gonna mumbo jumbo this, so it should be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cool.
So thanks, guys.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye bye. One of the downsides for doing these ground-based circus tricks is your skids are gonna get it. So next time we can put some JB weld on it. We can glue a small piece of carbon fiber on it from like a broken tail fin, and that'll make it a little smoother. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go change my skids. Sucks.
You need more leverage than that.
I forget where we did it. Did we do it here?
Yeah, no, it was towards the tip of the blade. No, it was all the way towards the tip. The tip. That's the root. This is the tip. Remember the blades episode, number 24?
Did we do it there? No,
I think so.
No, I needed to sling it more. Just let me do it. Just don't worry about it.
Okay. You think it'll actually come out of the blade? You might destroy it.
I think it'll go. Or should I hold this way? Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna do a bit of a. You talk.
I don't know. This is another baseball throw, but with more leverage. We'll see if it works.
Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Freaking every time he makes me do the blade stop. Every time. Never once does he say, oh, I'll do the blade stop. No, it's get your shit, you're doing the blade stop. Fucking unbelievable.
This is the closing.
I'm going to get down to your height.
Take one.
That's
Action.
Bobby.